Hi, guess what? It's all about you time. And we want to make sure that you are tuning in because we have lesson 9 of 12 of our marriage series. This is lesson 9 of 12. So just make sure that you tag your friends and go ahead and share and start a watch party because we want to make sure that you understand how selfishness can destroy your relationships. I'm so excited to be talking about this topic tonight because selfishness has destroyed a lot of relationships. But the biggest thing to realize is that some people don't even know that they're selfish. So I have 10 steps or 10 ways that you can know if you might have a little selfishness in you and if it could be destroying your marriage. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started, okay? So first of all, number 1, most selfish people are unaware of the imbalance in the relationship. Well, Sharon, what do you mean by that? Well, if you're always taking and the person you're with is always giving, you might be selfish. If it has never crossed your mind or crosses your mind very few and far between on doing something for someone else, you might be a little selfish. So that's number 1. You're not even aware that there's an unbalance in your relationships where you're always the one taking something from the relationship and they're always giving to you. Okay? Number 2. Have you ever noticed some people give their children weird names for weird reasons? Why would this be selfish, Sharon? Well, some parents have not thought about all of the ridicule and all the things that they will be going through when they're in school, from bullies or people who are going to make fun of their name, or just all the things that could happen because they didn't give any more thought to the name other than, I wanted to name them this because I wanted that. So you have to understand that there's that little sense of selfishness that's there, okay? Number 3, have you noticed that selfish people nag all the time about something? They're never, ever satisfied, pleased, or happy, or grateful. They're always complaining. Individuals who are selfish are always complaining. Nothing's ever good enough for them. Nothing ever happens good enough, and they always are going to complain about it. Number 4, you don't bother to give negative feedback to anyone. And the reason why you don't want to give negative feedback is because you don't want to be looked at as the bad guy. It's better for you to feel good and make other people feel good, which is selfish, and then to give someone negative feedback or constructive feedback, which could help them. You'll let them keep making the same mistake because you don't want to look bad. That's a form of selfishness. Number 5, selfish people are control freaks. So if you have a control freak in your life, you can rest assured they are extremely selfish. Number 6, selfish people are great manipulators because no matter what group they're in, no matter what conversation they're in, that conversation is always going to be surrounded about what they want, what they're doing, what they need you to do for them. It may start off in a very good, unselfish way, but it'll wind up getting right back to what I need you to do. Or can you help me do this? Or I need, or I that. It will always get back to them. Also, selfish people feel like really they're the only important person on the planet. Like no one else's feelings is more important than theirs. They're not even going to think about your feelings. They're going to think about how they feel and operate out of their feelings. Always. They're not even going to consider your feelings. Also, number 8. Selfish people never clean up after themselves to be considerate for someone else. They're not going to do it. They're just going to operate and do the things that they do, but they're not going to clean up behind themselves. And number 9, selfish people hate teamwork. They do not like to cooperate in teams. Most selfish people don't even like other people. And if they have to be around other people, they're going to find a way to get into an argument, a fuss, or some type of discord so they can leave the group. And number 10, selfish people rarely collaborate. They're not going to ask someone else their opinion. They're not going to seek help. They're not going to see if they can partner with anyone on a particular idea. They're not going to collaborate at all. Matter of fact, collaboration is never going to be a thought for them because it's all about what I can do. I'll take care of it. I can get this done. But they're never going to seek help, ask for it, or be willing to collaborate with others to get something done. So, Sharon, now that we have kind of discerned if we're selfish or if we're not, how does that impact my marriage? Well, right now, if you're in a marriage and you're very selfish, like 1 through 10, if you've got more than 3 of the 10, you can consider yourself selfish and you just may not know it. But what that happens is, even if you're married, you're probably with a person who's accommodating, who's always going to try to make the peace, who knows you're selfish, and they know you're not going to change, but they're going to still love you anyway. And those people sometimes grow angry inside and start to resent you for being selfish and never caring about their feelings or what they think about, or even asking them, what would you like to see at the movies? And then if you, especially on TV, you'll say, well, honey, I want to watch so-and-so on TV. And they'll be like, mm-mm. And then they'll be like, well, why can't we watch this? It's always what they want to watch. It's always something that they're interested in. And if you ask, let's go out on a date, it's always going to be the restaurant they like. It's going to be very selfish motives all the time. Very hard for a marriage to operate when there's really only one person that feels like they're the important person in the relationship. So I wanted to bring this to light tonight because we have talked about, number 1, that first issue in marriage was overstepping boundaries. So we talked about on that on the first week. Number 2, we talked about lack of communication, and that's a huge issue in marriages. Number 3, we talked about bedroom freedom. That was my favorite topic. And number 4, we talked about non-focus on your marriage. Number 5, we talked about emotional cheating. Lesson 6, we talked about money conflicts. Now, money and communication are always in the top 3. Also, we talked about non-appreciation as number 7, non-appreciation for one another. Number 8, we talked about technology distance last week. And this week, the topic was selfishness. So lesson 9 of 12 is selfishness. Next week, I'm going to talk about lack of trust. Now, that's going to be huge. So I want y'all to tune in next week about lack of trust. We're going to talk about that. Again, sharing never keeps you long. It's all about you. Time only gives you a quick little 10 or 15 minutes of some goodies that hopefully can help you in your relationships. Now, I got to get in class because I'm in a class to get my license, and I want to make sure you guys still got your little nugget, but now it's time for me to get in class. I love you. Thank you so much for all that you do, for it's all about you. Take a look at my page and please respond to my flyer and tell me what you think about it. I am starting to have online marriage courses, and my first course is for the wives. Second course is for the husbands. I'll post the husband package tomorrow, and then the marital package I'll post the day after. But thank you so much for all that you do for me. You encourage me. You always watch. You always share. You always say, hey, I'm going to make sure I support this Black business woman. And I appreciate that more than you know. And I also wanted to thank my family, people who have been in my life. They support me. They make sure that I have everything that I need to do what it is that I do. And I want to let you know from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate y'all more than you know. So thanks again. Thanks for tuning in to It's All About You. And I got to go to class. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.